The Lord has been so close to me in the last few days since my encounter Sunday with the angel of death. And I know that the air in my lungs is getting short. I had a very rough young life. And I'm not talking about sin as I am the jobs that I had. I worked in a coal mine in eastern Ohio when I was young. I was a rock duster, and the rock dust that I applied to the walls by a large auger and a fan I would apply it to the walls and the roof and bottom of the mine to keep the dust down, or the chance for explosion down. And many's the time that the doctor has taken my x-ray, and he says to me, he says, I see it there, it's just like concrete. And then my time as a firefighter in Kentucky between the years of 1979 to probably 83 and 84. These are things that we do out of need to feed our family. And when we're young, we think that we're indestructible, as the young people think today. And life does not end. But as I sit there and I many times fight for a breath, I know that I have COPD. I know that my breath is getting shorter. And what I do, I must do quickly. I would like to minister for the Lord a little while longer. But under the circumstances, I don't know if I can keep my breath. And if you can't keep your breath, or if you start coughing like sometimes I do on the internet with the videos, it's not good. I would like for you all to pray for me. I had a very discouraging time, and I wasn't going to mention this again, but the Lord told me to. Not to make anybody feel guilty or bad, but just to put out my need that the Lord might be able to answer it. And I'm trusting in the Lord completely, because for the first time in my 43 years in the ministry, I had to go to God's people for help. And I believed so much that they were going to help me. I took out my regular payment for my credit card, and it was in there in the bank, and it was every month and everything like that. Well, when the hand or the arm of flesh, so to speak, failed me, I was left with an overdraw in the bank, and it comes to about $150 a month. And I'm asking God to help His servant. I know that He hears me, and I know that He knows that my heart is true, and I'm not one to go out and say, send me $40 and I'll send you 2 prophecies of your life and everything. That shouldn't be done. Let's just say it that way. But God knows how many times I have asked God's people for help. I've always worked hard to eke out a living for my, at that time, family. And I came over here to the Philippines on faith and for a promise that I made a great man. That great man was my stepfather of 52 years. And I promised him, I said, Papa, I'm going to preach in your hometown. I'm going to preach in the Philippines, and I'm going to minister in the Philippines. And I came over here on faith, and God has not let me down because I'm not one who wants much. But I had a bout with my heart, and this is where I found out that my lungs were quite regularly filling up with fluid, and I was drowning in my own fluid. That's what happened to me Sunday, and I was taken to the hospital. I had no hospitalization whatsoever, and so I have to pay the hospital bill back. My nephew over here, his wife graciously loaned me the money, and I am paying it back, and it looks like God is going to deliver me out of another one. But I would like to get that bank account straightened out. It's not a good testimony to do something like that, and as I said, the church that was involved, I believed in so much that nobody could convince me that it was going to let me down, and it did. So I'm not asking for money from anybody, but I'm asking for you to pray with me that God will turn around this month. The wife and I are not going to have a Christmas, but the last 2 years I don't think I've had a Christmas at all. But God is good and God is gracious, and after all, it's His birthday anyway, and I don't know of any time where when I had a birthday somebody else got the gifts, and so we celebrate the way we can and the way we have to. But as I said, I would like for God's people, and if you believe that I'm just saying this, please don't pray, because you're just muddying up the waters. But if you believe that this heart is true, and that this heart is speaking the will of God many times, I would ask you to please pray. Like I said, it's a slow process. I thought maybe I could get some help from God's people and get out of it quickly, but it's not going to happen. So God is teaching me to lean upon Him. I would like to go back to Kenya, Africa, before the time comes for me to leave and go home, and I mean to glory. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Friends, the only thing I can say is I'm being as truthful with you as I can be. I'm always truthful with you, and I don't want to butter things up. I don't want to sugarcoat things, and I don't want them to sound worse than what they are, because they're not. I will eventually probably get this straightened out, but if God could intervene for me, it would be appreciated, because as I said, I think I was let down by the arm of flesh. People saw something that wasn't there. You're not necessarily a rich man if you leave the country to live out a life of peace and hopefully prosperity. And I wasn't a rich man when I left. I'm not a rich man now. But everything that I've ever done for God, I've done it on my own. I paid for the whole thing, and God has been gracious. But I have come to a point where I'm going to have to lean on God more. And if these videos are the only kind of ministry I can have because of my lung problem, then so be it. I don't want to pray for healing because I know this is a part of the curse. It's a part of the degenerating body that it goes with age. It goes with how rough you've been on your body. And I also smoked for years, and maybe you don't feel like that smoking is wrong or counterproductive in your Christian life. I do. And so when I did get off of smoking, it was a great thing. I got off of it about 27 years ago. But it left its mark, and rebellion and sin and going your own way always does leave its mark. So I just ask for compassion in your prayers, that God might keep me on the battle line a little while longer, in the fields, just a few more hours, and I'll be happy, because I'm looking forward to that peace. I'm looking forward to the time when God takes us home. God bless you. Maranatha. Jesus is at the door.